Okay, let's talk about type a little bit more and what we call paragraph styles and character styles. So there's a panel that we need to open called paragraph styles. So let's go up to the type tool, and about a quarter of the way down is a thing called paragraph styles. Let's click on that, and when we click on that, we should get this box that pops up. If yours is already docked on the right, it will pop up. It'll do the little flyout. I actually want to dock this to the right, so I'm going to click on the little dark gray area at the top, click and drag it to the right side until that little blue line shows up, and then let go. And now I'm going to, have the little flyout over here. Okay, so by default, any paragraph that comes in is going to have a style of this basic paragraph style. That's what you see here. So there's a lot of times when you want paragraphs to look the same and to act the same, and this is a little section that we have those 4 pictures, and this is a great section to have all the paragraphs look the same, or make sure that they have the same values, they're the same font, stuff like that. So right now they do. And if we were to change this, so let's say we would change this to something like something like this font, and let's change this to 8 point. So now this paragraph looks way different than all these paragraphs. And we could go through and go to the next paragraph and make those same choices. But what paragraph styles allow us to do is actually set up a saved area and say we want this to be a paragraph of whatever type. We can name it whatever we want, and then all we have to do is highlight the paragraphs and tell it to use this style. So let's define this as a style. Let's go to our paragraph panel, and this isn't a basic paragraph anymore. Let's change this to add a new button, and as soon as we do that, we get a paragraph style new. And if you notice all these items that are up here, if I double click into this paragraph style, so I'm going to click on it and double click, I get this box that pops up, and it's called paragraph style 1. And maybe I want to call this something different. I can name it something here. So I'm going to name it body type, and this is for section 2. Whatever title makes sense here. InDesign doesn't care. It's just more for humans to be able to go through the list and choose accordingly. So if I go to my basic character formats, you notice that this font matches this font, and this size matches this size. So it saved all that information for us by having that paragraph highlighted and then creating this paragraph style. It saved all that information for us. We don't have to go through here and make all these decisions. That's great. So all I have to do is click OK, and now I have this paragraph style, body type selection, section 2. So let's say we want to apply this to this paragraph. Real easy. All we do is highlight it. We click on body type selection 2. Automatically changes. So let's do that for the next 2. Let's do click, drag, and now in 2 seconds, they're all exactly the same. And the reason I like this is, if you go up to the menu and you find the font, you change the size, and you do that 4 times, you're making all these you're making all these selections, and you leave one out one time, and it's not perfect all the way through. So this enables me to be really perfect and to be really quick and be really perfect. Now it gets even more powerful. Let's say for some reason we don't like this font all of a sudden. It's not taking up. We want a bigger font because we don't have that much text and we need to take up more space. So all we go back in, we just double click on that paragraph style, go to our character format, and we could change the font. Let's change it to like Verdana 9 point, and let's go OK. So by changing it to Verdana 9 point, it changes all 4 of those paragraphs to Verdana 9 point, which is great. It's done all that work for me. Now, say they come back and they want more line in between each, or more space in between each line. No problem. You double click that and you change the leading to 12 point. And as soon as you click OK, it changes it in all the paragraphs that have that type that you've made have all that type. So this is hugely powerful. You can create as many paragraph styles as you want. It is just limited to a paragraph. So as soon as you hit the enter key, it stops and it's the new paragraph. So we could actually have this paragraph have a basic style, and you can see the difference in font and all that. But it has to. You couldn't just have this line be a basic style. It has to be a whole paragraph. As soon as you hit the enter key, then it will change, and you can create whatever font or whatever style you want for that paragraph. So it has to, hence the name, it has to be an actual paragraph to be able to put a style to it. Now, what gets tricky is these are actually paragraphs. These we're using for headers are actually paragraphs because you hit State Park 1 and then you hit return, it goes to the next line. So we can kind of use paragraph styles to format our headers. So let's say we want to use I don't know, something different that we can tell, like this brush script. Okay, and then let's change the size to something a little bit bigger, like 24. And you can see I get this pink color. Now the reason I get this pink color is I've made a choice, and I'm making paragraph choices, but I haven't actually made this a paragraph. So let's change that to a paragraph. There we go. And let's actually add this as a paragraph style. So now you can see I have paragraph style 1. If I double click on that, I can change the name to title for section 2. And maybe it's section 1 or whatever title, whatever makes sense to you. And you can see brush script 24, 24. That's all going to be perfect for us. Okay. Now all I have to do is highlight the next one, do the title for section 2, highlight the next one, do the title for section 2, highlight the last one, do the title for section 2, and now it's worked perfectly for us. We're getting this problem down here with the size because we didn't have a proper paragraph when we chose this. So let me undo this, and then let's actually make this a proper paragraph. And this is a little tweaking that it gets, you have to kind of do as you go through this, but it makes it worth it once you get it set up. So that's perfect. And then we want this to be section 2, just like that. Okay, so just like before, if we come back and we decide we don't want State Park 1, we can come back to title 2, title section 2, go to basic formatting, change this to, I don't know, something like book antique, jack it up to 26, click OK, and that is now changed on all the titles. So that's huge. You can see we have this selected as title 2. It should be actually body. And as soon as I click that, boom, it's done. Everything's perfect. So this is hugely powerful. You can use it in a couple different ways. Now there's one other thing I want to show you just quickly, which is character styles. And this gets confused a lot. So I just want to highlight it briefly. Most of the time I'm using paragraph styles. So most of the time I'm using what I've just shown you. There are certain times I want to use what are called character styles. So I'm going to go up to type, go to character styles, and I get this box as well. So I'm going to dock that character style underneath paragraph styles, and so I can have that same little flyout. Character styles are similar. You can do almost everything you can do with paragraph styles. It remembers certain things. But I use character styles more for bolds and stuff like that. So let's say for whatever reason these 3 words need to be bold, and I'm going to make them a little bit bigger. So I'm going to say these 3 things need to be bold and they need to be 10 point. So we really want to accentuate that these are bold. So I can make this a new character style. It's going to be character style 1. And then I'm going to call this bold. and I'm going to call it bold body. Okay, see, so you have a whole bunch of different options here. They're a little different than what we had in paragraph styles. But let's say we want to have bold, and we also want to, see, we can have, it's not going to remember any of the other information. So whatever font it's using, it's going to just change it to bold and to 10 point. So whatever font family it's using, it's going to use that font family. And I'll show you an example of that in just a second. But let's also change the color. Let's change it to magenta, bright magenta. You could change it to red or blue or whatever you want. But just for our illustration, so I'm going to click OK. And as soon as I click off of that, you can see it's now bold and it's magenta. So it's bold, 10, and you can obviously tell it's magenta. So the beauty with this is no matter where you're at in your document, if you want that bold magenta, 10 point, all you do is you click on body bold magenta and you get that 10 point. See, it doesn't work too much in the title because it's going to be 10 point. And that's why I've put body here. So I'm going to undo that. If you wanted, a title font, a title bold like that, then I would do, title bold or whatever down here. So if you wanted to highlight 3 things, a whole paragraph, whatever you wanted to do, you could do this in between in between paragraphs. So character styles aren't limited to the whole paragraph. You can actually just do 1 word, do 2 words, whatever you select will have that style. So we really want to use that for stuff like bold, italic, maybe different colors. So let's say we have, a vocabulary list. If we wanted them all to be this pink color, and we went back and said, we're changing our colors from pink because pink, isn't the in color now, and now what the in color is yellow. We can double click on our bold body, go to our character color, change it to yellow, click OK. Now they all change to yellow automatically. So this just really eliminates any errors, by highlighting and selecting and choosing colors and stuff like that. It's super powerful. Really play with paragraph styles and character styles. We're only scratching the surface. You can nest these styles. You can do a lot more advanced stuff. But this is a great introduction to that. So I just encourage you to check out the book, check out the resources online, and really get used to playing with the styles because they're really, really beneficial.